Hey y'all, I'm back, and this time it is with an illustration video, but also kind of just a yapping session also. While I'm showing y'all my process, I'd also just kind of like to talk about whatever, so in some aspects that might be, like what I'm working on, but I don't know, leave room for tangents. I wanted to try a video like this, since it doesn't take as much effort as something like a full storyboard like I had done last time, and I want to be able to put out more content for you guys. But yeah, let's get into it. So I didn't mention it earlier, but if you don't know, this illustration is of Akuma from Street Fighter 6, and I wanted to start the illustration off by giving it a red undercoat with paint, because I knew I wanted it to have a more deep, dark, intense feel overall. So the entire illustration, I stick to reds and maroons and even like pinks for my lighter values, but I wanted it to have like a very ominous vibe. But yeah, that aside, starting here, I'll get into some of the painting, but I wanted to give an idea of where this illustration came from. Akuma is not the type of character that I'd normally draw, that's for sure. He's just so much bulkier and intense than the character I would normally kind of tackle. Not to say that I don't draw characters with muscle or characters that are more intense, but he's just like such an extreme example that he wouldn't like have been my first pick, you know? That aside though, the reason that I chose to draw Akuma was because this illustration actually is going to be a gift for someone very important in my life, and they freaking love Street Fighter 6, and Akuma is definitely their main. I'm not like too deep into the fighting game side of things, but I promise it's not just for the meta. Like, I choose to believe that they probably like him for some of his other characteristics too, whether that's his aesthetics, like how cool he looks, or move type. But yeah, so I was definitely on a time crunch to get this one finished, and I think that definitely reflects in the finished product. Not that I hate it or anything crazy, it's just I was in such a rush to get this thing done. Like, I woke up the morning that I was gonna give it to this person, and I had like 3 hours in total to get it done. The sketch had like come together pretty quickly. I had gotten it done days in advance. That's also what I forgot to mention, was I decided to pick up this project in the middle of a big move, and I totally underestimated how freaking exhausting and intensive packing can be, even like time consuming. Like, I really thought that it wasn't going to be an issue, but it ended up like taking away all the time that I thought I was going to have for this project, and it definitely got put off, I hate to say it, to the last minute. So I was like trying to get this done morning of, and even though I don't think that what came out is necessarily bad, I think as the person that made it, like, I can see where the shortcuts are, and like I wish I could have done more. Like, something about this illustration is that it actually doesn't have any shading in it. I mean, like, it has some hatching here and there, but I'd really just count that as part of the line work. And from like an artist perspective, like, it does feel kind of lackluster. Okay, but I'm definitely done talking about the negatives. I think this was an art piece that I did what I could. I finished. I made mistakes. I know what they are, and I can grow from them. I think that as an artist, it's really easy to get caught up in perfectionism and wanting every piece to be perfect, but I think there's just as much value in having a perfect piece as there is letting a piece be bad, taking away what info you can, and then making the next one even better. So even though this one may not have reached my expectations, partially to like my own fault, right? I think that it's a great learning experience, and I'm excited to, like, maybe not necessarily the next gift, but the next piece that I try to work on, seeing how that comes out. I'll talk more about like the illustration itself here in a little bit, but I wanted to talk about like my recording situation right now. So it's definitely later at night, and I'm trying to be quiet for everyone around me, so apologies for the almost whisper tone of this, but I don't know. I feel like maybe it's kind of fitting because I also recorded the footage super early in the morning, so like it has that like yellow lighting from just like the not natural sunlight. I don't really know what you would call it. Yeah, I don't know. I need to start doing more stuff in the daytime. Like this isn't the move. Like I remember in my last video for my voiceovers, I started at midnight and probably ended around 4. And like granted that like has editing time included also. I wasn't like recording voice lines for like 4 hours straight. But like everything just seems to work better if you can get stuff done in the day. Like if I had recorded my illustration footage in the daytime, like the lighting would have been more even, like my stuff wouldn't have like casted shadows and the colors probably would have been more apparent. And if I recorded this voiceover, I guess, of me talking, I wouldn't have to be like whispering into the mic. Like it's I don't know, I feel so like stupid right now. Like obviously like I have my blanket like to absorb sound or noises, like y'all know, I'm sure y'all know the trick, but it's just like I don't know. Apologies for the video quality. Oh, yeah, kind of moving on to another topic. I'm kind of curious. I know like I don't have like the world's biggest audience with this channel right now, but like do any of y'all like play Street Fighter or fighting games? Like I've definitely touched it casually. It just takes so much time and commitment to actually like get good and be able to compete. Like, do you know that saying how it's like with Super Smash Bros for the Nintendo, it's like you're beat your siblings good and you're like tournament good. Like I feel like that's very much the Street Fighter vibe also. Like you can kind of be good for just like casual playing, and then you go play online and you get like absolutely like what's the word, swept or like knocked out, I don't know. But yeah, so I've like definitely touched a controller. I like there was a period where I kind of locked in and I was trying to learn classic controls, but I just didn't have the time. Like it really takes a while to like get good, and then that's even like to perfect a single character. Like there's a whole roster, but like there's no way to be good at them all. Like they're all so different in their fighting styles. But when I did play, I played Chun-Li. I'd been playing her since like Street Fighter 2, which I'm not that old obviously, but like that was something really big for me growing up. Was like my dad loved that game and like he put us on it. And yeah, I just like I think a lot of the newer characters are really great, especially like with the season passes that they've been dropping, but I don't know, I just can't like drop the classics. Like Chun-Li's my go, you know? Like there are some other characters that definitely like cross my attention. Like I'm good-ish with Manon and Mai, but yeah, nowhere near like the level of dedication. And the thing is, like, I would totally pick up like a fighting game again if I had the time. Like it's a freaking blast, but like I now keep hitting this like nail on the head. I feel like I'm trying to talk in like a lot of like metaphors or phrases and I just don't have them. I'm not trying to like beat a dead horse here, but like it truly like takes forever to like master these concepts. I don't know. I think I did like, they have these things called like combat trials where you go over like certain combos and movesets, and like I got like 5 to 10% of the way done with Chun-Li's. And that's even like, I've only been talking about the online mode so far, but now I'm thinking about the story aspect of it, and I'm not necessarily talking where you make your own character and you go through the town. I thought like it was a cool concept, and I love how you meet all the other fighters as trainers, but it felt kind of grindy at times, I guess. But something that made it all worth it for me was the character stories. Those were always really cool. Like, not just because of the storytelling, but the illustrations were also always super, super good. Yeah, that's actually where some of the inspiration for this composition came from. The person that I'm making this gift for, their favorite animal happens to be a shark, and there is a scene with Akuma's story where it's revealed that he loves fishing because, I don't know, something about like conquering something, I don't know, it was always like conquering with him, like overcoming like challenges in the sea or something, I'm sure. But yeah, that's why I wanted to show him with a sea animal here. But what was interesting was I decided to go with a composition of him working with it. Like, I can probably put in a picture here somewhere, but the scene is actually of him like beating the crap out of a swordfish. So, I mean, obviously this wouldn't be his like usual MO. Like, normally like he'd be punching the shark. I did some thumbnails. Maybe I'll put them in like a community post or something. I just didn't want to copy, I guess, like what was already done. So I wanted to do something a little different, and I think there's something about him fighting alongside a massive creature rather than beating it up that like felt so much more powerful in my mind. I don't know. Like, I promise I worked it out. Yeah, I'll make a post after uploading this video. It's actually really funny because alongside the thumbnailing that I did, I also did 2 reference studies, none of which I really used. I did one of Akuma's facial expressions because I'm not used to drawing older looking characters. Granted, I don't really know his age. I guess like he doesn't fall under old, he falls more under like the ancient category. But yeah, they're so much more like defined and what's the word, like made bigger, but I'm sure you all know what I mean, that I wanted practice beforehand because there was no way that I think I was gonna do it well without the study. And you know, thinking about it now, maybe I could have had just a reference on the side and just copied it straight from, but there's something about having like an understanding that allows for such compositions and like freedoms, like when not painting, but like composing an illustration in general. But yeah, I also did a muscle study of not necessarily like Akuma sized muscles or anything crazy, but just basic male like human anatomy. I wanted to have an understanding so I knew where his muscles were expanding so I could draw more effectively. But I mean, as you can kind of see, or you will see later, at the end of the day, it kind of just turns into guesswork. Like, I had a sketch and like a thought process, and then I accidentally painted everything over, and then all of that went the freak out the window. So I'm glad I did the reference studies, like, for the sake of doing them. I just think that it was kind of funny that I put in all of this time trying to perfect this thing and stray away from my habits only to go right back into them. Yeah, maybe that'll be my goal for my next piece. It's like, okay, you can do your references again, but like, gosh dang it, like, you're gonna use them. Because, I don't know, like, thinking about it now, maybe some of the time that I spent doing that could have gone towards painting this sooner and getting it out faster. Okay, but like, still on the topic of Street Fighter, I don't know when whoever's watching this video is watching this video. There's actually something kind of funny about someone watching this a year later. I can't imagine a lot of people coming to this one, but where was I going? Oh yeah, the Street Fighter movie is coming out here soon in 3 months, 2 months. It's August at the time of recording and uploading this, so here soon. And I'm actually really stoked about it. Like I had mentioned before, I grew up with Street Fighter, so getting to see
it become a movie and go on the big screen is always going to be a treat, because I don't know, that's how I've always felt about video game movies. They're never going to have like the best plot that a movie could have, unless like I somehow get proved wrong later, which I probably will. But you know how like when it comes to books, there's like a book that's good, like as in it was like entertaining, like you really enjoyed it and like you would read it again. But then there's also good in like a Romeo Juliet literature kind of way, where it's like not the technique, but just the sophisticated nature of it all, or execution. Like, so I feel like video game movies don't normally have that kind of air to them, but like I would always go back and watch them again, or there's never a moment that it's like on the screen and I think, oh, I want to leave, or I don't want to be here. Like, I always enjoy them to the fullest. And I feel kind of the same way about the Street Fighter movie. Like, recently I watched Mortal Kombat 2, I think, was the newest one. And don't get me wrong, the plot wasn't anything revolutionary, but, like, I had a freaking blast seeing those characters on screen. And I didn't even play that much Mortal Kombat growing up. I think I, like, touched the game, like, once or twice. So for something like Street Fighter, where I've been playing this since I was like pretty little, I don't know, I'm really excited. Akuma's gonna be in it, by the way. Funny tie-in. But yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say about it now. At this point, all that's really out is a trailer or two, and I won't really have like any opinions on it till I've gone and seen it myself, but I'm sure it's gonna be great. I also don't think I mentioned it, but I did switch to painting the shark. The painting of it isn't anything especially remarkable. It's pretty much just flats, but I did have a lot of fun drawing it. I did a shark study 3 years ago, because I had gone really into Suicide Squad at the time. And King Shark was on the brain, and I was like, oh, but like before I can draw him, like I have to draw sharks first. So coming back to it was definitely not a breath of fresh air, but it was nice to go back to something kind of familiar. Like, I wasn't too sure at first what I was doing, but then I just hopped into it and I was like, okay. Like, I know what's up. Like, I know where I'm at, and I actually got really lost in it. It was a ton of fun to draw, especially from like this front angle. I think everything that I had done in the past, if I'm remembering right, was always at like a side view or a front view. So getting to kind of really focus on its underbelly was cool. I can't believe I just said that. Which, it's not like what I said was bad or anything. Like, that's dumb. I just think it's a funny thing to get so excited about. Like, oh, I gotta paint the bottom of a shark. Like, the highlight of my day. My morning, I guess. But yeah, at this point, I mean, the flats are just about done. Of the two characters, or character and composition figure, I mean, like, Shark number 2 isn't a character in Street Fighter 6 or anything crazy. But yeah, at this point, I think I just add some, not highlights, but the whites to their eyes, and then I'll finish things up in cleaning. You know, something about like the base colors is I noticed that I left a lot of red coming through, and that's because when I was painting, I hadn't noticed that the line art was going to disappear after the second coat. So I had done my undercoat layer, and I was like, oh, cool, like I can still see the lines, like maybe I'll have some wiggle room, especially because I'm so used to with acrylic markers, like you need to layer and layer and layer to get your sketch fully covered. So that's definitely where I lost a lot of line work, and then I tried to make up for it by letting like red shine through so I could kind of have those guidelines, and I think it totally backfired on me, but that's okay. Live and learn. Oh yeah, here I actually had a lot of fun with this part where I was painting, I guess, the water effect. of water surrounding them, or them jumping out of water, kind of whatever you interpret it to be. The one thing I wish that I did differently, I love the motion that's captured here with the strokes of the paintbrush, like all going in like one like brush direction. And then even with the texture of the brush, like I had some like stray bits that kind of popped off of the side. But what stinks is I wish I hadn't only kept it to white. You know how like water is translucent, so it has like the white rims, but it has like, in regular water's case, it would be blue on the inside. I wish I would have done that, but with red, I think it would have given it a more translucent feel and made it more realistic. Not that I think that what I ended up with is terrible. I just wish that I had done that part, not differently, but like added a little bit more to that part, if that makes sense. But that aside, I mean, that was kind of the last thing that I had to finish the base coloring of this illustration. Here in a second, I'll zoom out so you can just see what it looks like as a whole before I do any cleanup. Yeah. And I know I've been kind of vague about it, like what the cleanup is, but it's the thing that I've been used to save my butt every time. So for as much as I say this video is me going out of my comfort zone, I did go back to my comfort zone, just in a different aspect. Because I was in such a time crunch, which, I don't know, it's so conflicting because, yeah, like, no excuse, like, it was my fault. But I knew that I couldn't give this illustration the definition I wanted through shading. With so little time, I figured it would just be easier to line everything. I knew the colors would have been solid and exactly where they need to be, and if I could focus on hatching and cell shading in some parts, it would just make the process go by all that quicker, and I can guarantee that it would look nice. So at the end of the day, since it was a gift, I could have confidence in that it would be something that I would be relatively confident in giving them. Because I don't know, I'd hate to give like someone something that I'm like not sure of. It just feels kind of scummy, I don't know. But yeah, I didn't want to take up too much of y'all's time with the inking. If that's something that you'd be interested in seeing me do live, I could totally do an inking spread or something like that. I've done it in some of my shorts content too, not like just inking, but inking aspects. So I could do something that's more slow paced like this, because to be honest, this is the one clip where I have thinking go slow and everything else is in time lapse. I didn't want y'all to miss out on anything. I just didn't want to spend like 15 to 20 minutes showcasing my inking, especially because that wasn't like the big challenge for me here. So I didn't want to hyper focus on that too much. But yeah, really going ham on his face here. Something that I had noticed in like the reference studies is that he doesn't really have eyebrows to emote. He really uses like his wrinkles and his expression. So here I feel like I didn't like capture like a expression that was 100% sure of itself. It's kind of like, what's the opposite of risky? Like whatever the word for unrisky would be. It's safe. It's a safe expression. So I make up for that, and here in a moment I'm just gonna like absolutely wrinkle this like guy's face the heck out to give it a level of intensity that I feel like it was missing. But I mean, yeah, that's kind of just what the next 30 seconds or so is. But man, I just love watching the line art help everything fall into place. Something I need to get better about as an artist is being able to do form without it, but watching everything take shape and like those gaps get filled. It goes from being mediocre to like, okay, this is like kind of crisp, like so quickly. Once again, because of the time crunch, I mean, it's not perfect. My lines are uneven. I wish some of my highlights were bigger, but I mean, it's definitely an improvement from where it was. So I'm gonna leave y'all to the time lapse here, and I'll be back to talk about the finished product at the end. yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Here's the finished illustration. I do like how it came out, even though it wasn't as grand as I wanted it to be. If y'all like this kind of content, I'd be glad to make more. I also am going to try making some more scripted videos in the future, so keep an eye out for those. Those will definitely be more structured. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Tell someone you love them, and I'll see you later, skaters.